Welcome back to Tom's Gear Rods again, boys and girls. Yay! Today, Papao, it's a Craftsman LT1000. We're going to put a new blade deck belt. We're going to replace it. I was changing her oil the other day and I noticed, ooh, boy, look at that thing all cracked up. And look how dirty the deck is. Ooh, we got to get all that cleaned up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this deck off for video purposes so you can see what I'm doing better. And that'll give me the opportunity to clean and inspect this deck. I've already got the blade sharp, so I ain't going to worry about doing that. And I can see we've got an issue with this disengaging spring. We'll have to figure that out too. Get her another spring. That thing has been sprung. Check the pulleys. Ooh. Make a little melee. All right, let's see how fast we can do this. Bring me a pair of pliers. We're going to be pulling some pins out. Let's see, we got to pull this pin. Yeah, crusty, rusty thing. All right, that one. Got to pull this one out. Ah. That one. Pull this belt off this front pulley. I'll show you around here how we do that. All right. Pull these two pins right here out. Come on, baby. Yeah. Pin and washer. Get around here. Oop. Pin and washer. It's so much easier for me just to pull the deck off when I'm doing a deck work. I hate having to bend over and crawl under there. But you don't have to take this deck off to change this belt. You don't have to. If you're just changing a belt in the driveway or in the garage or something, you don't have the luxury of having this lift table. All right. Pull that little pin right there out. Ooh, let the mower roll off the table. I don't have the parking brake set. Not there, a little lever. There we go. We'll take and raise this back up and get them arms out of the way. All right, now we'll take this pin out. Got the engaging cable loose. Pull that pin out that holds the cable to the deck. We'll slide this over here and hang this out of the way somewhere. All right. Well, you know, I should have took them off right there. Shoulda. Because I was thinking this was not like that. I was thinking this was just curved. I usually just take and spin it around. Yeah, let me take this off right there. Just get these out of the way. That's going to hit the tires when I try to slide it out. Yeah, that's much more gooder. Oh, we got to get this belt taken off the pulley. Just slide that off the front pulley there. All right, now we can really get the deck, get a good look at it, get it inspected, get it nice and clean. Ooh, look at the grass piled up on this thing. All right. Easy as that. What's the time on that? It took less than 4 minutes to pull that deck off. Okay. Make sure you don't lose this washer. This is where the engaging cable comes in. You got a pin there that holds it. The spring goes over that. You got another pin that goes in there. It's getting pretty worn right there. Okay. And this little spring right there is sprung. When you disengage, that's engaging. When you disengage, the spring should be hooked here. That's what helps disengage it. We'll get her another spring. Dig it out. There's something in there. Ooh, that thing's all kinds of different. Wires. But this is the belt pattern. It goes from the engine. It goes inside the 2 pulleys in the middle, and then it goes around the outside blade pulleys. In every deck I've ever worked on, the back side always goes straight to the other pulley. Just like that. We got to get this cover off, I guess. Yeah. We ain't gonna be able to get the belt out from under there. This should be a 3/8 or a Torx 27. Which first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit pause. I'm gonna get this deck nice and vacuum cleaned. Make sure this spring here isn't missing. I think I made that spring years ago for her. Okay. Let me hit pause. When I come back, this deck will be clean. All right. It ain't clean, but it's cleaner. You can actually see what you're working on now. This whole thing, this spring here, all that was just solid. So we've got to find another spring. Let's get this one off here. That thing's about to break. It just broke. Let's look in the spring drawer. That's a pretty good one. All right. All right, there's a spring right there. We'll stick this one on there. Get the pliers. I believe that'll work good. All right, let me hit pause. I'm going to get this belt off. You know, I don't believe I'm going to try to take this cover off, because you can see how rusty and crusty these screws are. You can't get a 3/8 socket around that. So you have to use a Torx 27, and I tell you, that ain't going to work. So let me hit pause. We're going to get the belt, and by golly, we will be right back. All right. Easiest way to find a part number on most of these, they've got a sticker under the hood that's got all the most common part numbers. That one there, the primary mower belt is a 144959. 144959. Here's a new belt. And I'm gonna try to get this belt on there and off without moving that cover. Okay. The spindle brake over here is what holds this belt on this side. See, when you disengage this thing, you're just throwing a bunch of slack on it. And this brake will hold it on here. And that one over there has a blade brake just inside here. When you engage, Get it up and around the blade brake. There. There we go. And then you just take and push this out of the way. Push that out of the way. Push that one out of the way. Boy, this belt right here is amazing how they haven't just broken all the way yet. Wow. All right. I don't know how long it's been since I put this belt on there. It feels about the same length. Oh, let's toss this belt over here somewhere. Alright, let's get this thing inside here. Yeah. Engage it, get it behind this blade brake over here. When I put a belt on, I always just go from the back like that. Pow, just like that. Pulleys feel good. Blade spindle bearings feel good. And we're good. All right. Now we'll slide this deck back on over there. This one don't have any grease fittings. I sharpened the blades already. And these front trailer arms were on backwards. It's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like that. Let's see, what did I do with the pins for that? Right here. There's the pin for this one. And then the pin for that one's over here. Now, you can carry that thing like a suitcase now. Cable hooked back up. Like that. All right. Lower the camera a little bit. And then we'll hook that. Don't forget the washer. And that goes like that. And that goes like that. All right. Well, okay. And we'll lower the deck arms, lift arms. That up a little bit. I may have to get my little hammer and tap these pins back in. Because I'm not about to bust a knuckle or rip a fingernail off. And when I put the pins in, I'm going to put them in from the front to back. That way, in case you hit something, it won't knock the pin out. Come back here, boy. There we go, I didn't need a hammer. Okay, we got that. We'll go ahead and get this front belt put back on. Let's see. Got the engaging cable, we got this one. Just move around to the front and get these trailer arms on. Let's get the rest of it put together first, because that's going to make me struggle if I put them on first. I like to try to start from the back and work forward. Put that little pin in right there. Right there. Hook this bar up right there. That one. Everything looks good. Now we'll run to the front and get these on. You tap that one with a hammer. All right. Hook this one up. Right. Now we'll get the belt put back on. Inside the belt keeper, around the pulley. I don't still have it engaged, do I? That belt feels like it's a little tight. That's engaged. Disengaged. All right, stick my head in there one more time. Make sure they're inside these belt keepers. Okay. I want to make sure what I want to do now is I want to make sure this deck isn't engaged when it's supposed to not be engaged. What I want to do is keep my eye on that pulley right there, make sure the blades ain't spinning, because right now it's disengaged. Engaged, even when you disengage it. So that's not good. That was not good. Because this lady here keeps this thing parked behind her barn, and she has to run over some edging blocks and stuff, so we got to make perfectly sure that's not the issue. Because they absolutely have to be disengaged. This belt is going to be too short. It is, it is. That's why you want to make sure you always use OEM belts. They claim this one was OEM, but to me it's too long, or too short. It still wants to grab and engage when the blade is disengaged. And it's dangerous. That is dangerous. Maybe the belt just needs to break in a little bit. Let me double check. Let me get a flashlight and make sure we got it together perfectly perfect. All right, we're inside there. It goes around to that pulley, inside the brake on that pulley, around. inside. Back to the engine pulley. Sometimes this engine pulley can get real crusty and it'll cause it to grab. Inside the belt finger there. That's real good and tight right there. Disengage. That should be loose enough not to engage the blades. Let's lower it back down and try it again. I gotta make sure this thing is perfect. That's dangerous. That belt is not going to work. We'll have to get another belt. As I said, that belt was 95 inches. So we need to double check here. Let's see, let's look at Sears. Let's see, we'll go down here to, we'll go to Sears. Where's it at? There it is, Sears Parts Direct. Sears Parts Direct. Come on there, website load. There it goes. I'll just let you stare at the stickers. All right. Let's look and see what the model number of that tractor was. Look at the invoice. It is a 917 272 674 tractor. 917 272 674. Shop the parts for that one. We will look at the deck, mower deck, and there's the belt, part number 68, right there, 144959. 95 and a quarter. That one advertised 95. Huh. See, I mean, when you get aftermarket stuff, it just matters so much because it's just a 1/4 inch difference. Can cause somebody to get hurt. I can't have this thing doing that. Y'all hang a wheel. We're going to get a new belt. Pow! We'll use a rotary brand. It's AYP 144959. See, this one's going to be a 95 and a half. So that's what we'll use. Yeah. See this other one? 144959. This one was a 95. Got to be careful what you buy, folks. All right. So we'll take this one back off. Let's go over here. On this side, all we got to do is take the engaging cable loose from the pulley. Stick our little hand up in here. Pull that pin back out. Hi-yah. Get that out of the way. And we'll take it back off the front engine pulley. I knew it was going to be too tight when I was putting it on this front pulley. We'll save this and use it for something else later in life. Gotta be safe. You can't be messing up somebody's lawnmower. All right. All right. Get my arms in there. Here. Pull it off that one. Now we'll come over here. This is going to be the little trick right here, doing it without taking this cover off again. Now the deck is going to be installed. It's going to be a little bit harder to get to. Let's see, we'll push this out of the way. Get that belt up. Off. And we'll pry the cover a little bit. There we go. Don't get that finger stuck in there. All right. Now we'll use this in the future for something else. All right. I'll stick this one through there. I was hoping to have her tractor back here today, Thursday, because she's got to go back to work tomorrow. I've had this thing all week, waiting for that belt to come in. I just took off down to my local dealer there and I get a discount though. Oh, I gotta make sure we get it back inside that. See, I'm having to do this blind. I can't see what I'm doing. Get my finger in there and I can feel around, get it inside that brake, and I can feel it's inside that brake. Okay. This belt is a little stiffer than the other one. I can a little bit better quality. All right, we're inside that belt keeper right there, around that pulley. We're inside this pulley. We're inside that brake right there. Let me feel, make doubly sure. Okay. Now we'll go back around here. Come around this one. Over there. Back around this little pulley. This pulley's got two belt keepers. Make sure you go inside both of them. Okay. We're inside. Inside. I can see that one just fell off that pulley over there. So we'll come back over here and make sure this one's on the pulley. Okay. Make doubly sure. All right. We'll come back over here and put it around the engine pulley. Yeah. Much better. Much, much better. All right, let's engage it. Nice and tight. Inside, inside. 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 This belt's going to be too long. It's pretty tight. Oh, I don't have the engaging cable hooked up. Duh. No wonder it wasn't tightening. Okay, now we're good. Look at there. Look at there. We're good. Inside, inside. You can't check it too many times. All right. All right. We are good. Okay, now we'll get back on it. Fire it up. Make sure we're good. it running. Okay, everything looks pretty good. 2 or 3 years ago, I took this deck all apart and I put anti-seize compound in here on that pivot point. So what I'll do, I'll just take a little lube. I should have done this before I put the deck back on. Okay. Well, there you go, boys and girls. A little deck service on the Craftsman LT1000. Deck belt replacement. Alright, boys and girls, thanks for watching another Tondobi video. Holler if you need me. Eat your vegetables and take your vitamins. Tell somebody you love them today. And by golly, we'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good, man. Y'all be good.